This happened in early 2010. My house and my relative's house are about 5 steps away. We shared a garden and an outdoor bathroom. Also, there was a large kumquat tree in the garden. And this is a related story. In 2009, my relative gave birth to a cute baby girl. However, even considering that it was a baby, it cried so hard. The baby cried until she lost all her strength. No matter how much the relatives tried to soothe the baby, it wouldn't stop crying. For 4 years, the child continued to cry every single day. And even after taking the child to the hospital, the results of the examination showed that there was no problem, which was even more strange. In 2014, it was a year after I retired from the Marine Corps. I found a job, and I started working at a hotel. I wore derby shoes and a suit to work. And after a few days, my relative came to me and said, "Why do you walk around the yard wearing derby shoes at night? No matter how close we are, it's very rude behavior at night." Me? Is there any reason to walk around the yard at night wearing those uncomfortable derby shoes? Relative. HMMMMM. Then my relative made me a suggestion. Relative. When is your day off? Me? It's this Thursday. Relative. Okay, please don't wear derby shoes that day. Me? Great. The day before the day off, I'll move all the derby shoes I have at home to a relative's house. This is just to be sure. I only have 3 pairs, but these are all the derby shoes I own. Relative. Okay, then please don't come out after the sun sets. I need to see what that sound is. Me? All right, I will do that. I had a strong feeling that something would be done. The relative who suggested it to me also had spiritual abilities and was a very wise person, so I thought there must have been a reason. Then Thursday came and I drank too much that day and didn't go out at all and just slept. And the next day, Friday, 3 pairs of derby shoes were picked up from a relative's house. And I went to work at the hotel. Fortunately, there was no smell of alcohol on the body. On Friday evening, we had a family meeting. The cause of the baby's crying has been found. Relative. When I opened the door to the yard where I heard the footsteps, I heard the derby shoes footstep sound in the empty yard. At that time, I knew there was no one out there. In a yard where no one was around, my child immediately started crying. On this matter, I have some doubts about the kumquat tree and garden. Then my grandfather said, "Is there any evidence that the kumquat tree did that?" Relative. The feel of the kumquat tree has changed a lot over the years. The feeling took a very negative turn. Grandfather, you have to be sure. Let's call a shaman. The family meeting concluded that a shaman would be called. I contacted the shaman, and he said that timing is very important in this matter. So the shaman said he would come and see the tree for himself on a day when there were no ghosts. A few days later, a shaman visited my house and looked at the kumquat tree. Shaman, it's not a bad ghost, but it's a very mischievous ghost. Shaman, is there a derby shoes you lost in this house a long time ago? Me? Yes, a relative's pair of derby shoes went missing. Shaman, this ghost is wearing those derby shoes and scaring the child. That ghost finds the baby's cry very amusing. I will warn the ghost not to do it. However, if the baby continues to cry and if you keep hearing the derby shoes footsteps sound in your yard at night, then cutting down the kumquat trees in your garden will eliminate this phenomenon. The shaman took out an amulet and burned it in front of the tree, and it is said that this ended the warning. However, despite the shaman's warning, the phenomenon started again a month later. This time I heard the derby shoes footsteps sound in the yard myself. The sound continued to be heard in the empty yard and in the dawn when no one was there. Likewise, a relative's baby started crying as soon as he heard derby shoes footsteps sound. Even on the way to the outdoor bathroom, I could still hear the derby shoes footsteps sound in the yard. Someone invisible was making footsteps in the same space as me. In the end, my grandfather cut down the kumquat tree and sprayed a harsh herbicide that killed the roots. After that, I never heard any footsteps in the empty yard. The relative's baby crying stopped after a few years.